Hi, my name is Melissa Giles, and this is Proverbs chapter 5. My son, be attentive to my wisdom, incline your ear to my teaching, that you may keep discretion, and your lips may guard knowledge. So on the beginning of each one of these, he always got King Solomon is the one that wrote this book, but he always talks about how we should be keeping God's commandments, and that we should really listen and apply these to our life. This particular chapter is really about sex and it talks a lot about women, in particularly. However, I do believe in this day and age it also goes for men as well. However, this is definitely more towards a woman than anything. I think that a lot of women may use their body for them to gain whatever it is that they want, money, houses, everything, not really having their heart. So how do I say this because I am reading the Bible. People nowadays it's people will use their bodies for or their ability to use their bodies for their own personal gain. That's how you say it simply. Thank you. So basically that's what this is about. And I know that not every woman out there has been a slut, or maybe not, whether you sell your body for money, or rather you sell your body, or you put your body out there and use it for your own benefit because you're good at whatever it is that you do on a personal level, is really what this is talking about. Again, we are in the 20th century. This is 2019. We're headed for 2020, and there are men who do the same thing. And so with that being said, I'm going to read through this. I don't particularly care for this book. However, or not this book, sorry, my bad. This chapter, this really made me take a look. I'm just gonna be very, very open here. I've never sold my body for money or drugs. However, I have, and I've never used my body for, how do I say, personal gain per se. However, I have doubted myself in self-love and have abused my body in this way. It just makes you really think about, just being promiscuous. Self-love is part of it. How do I say? Self-love is very, very important. And when we're doing things to our bodies that are not, it's because we don't love ourselves. I know, be very, very, I hear these things right now. I know for me personally, the reason why I did or had partaked in or a part of things that I wouldn't do now today, not just because of my growth in Christ, but or however more so my love for myself. But I found other things that I love more than just the pleasure of having sex. So I know that for a point in time in my life that was the only thing that ever made me feel good. And so if everything else in my life was a complete disaster, And so therefore I partook in things that made me feel good, and one of them was sex. And so there's a lot of that stuff that goes on in today's world. Sex is very, very, very powerful, especially to the woman who doesn't feel good about themselves, you know. So that was the only thing for the longest time that ever made me happy, and so therefore that's what I did. Rather I've been with men or what. I'm not going to go really into great detail on that, you know, because it wasn't always that way. Yeah, so I'm just gonna read this. I didn't really like. I really want to be candid. I want to be open, and things, and I do it. I do it because this is why I do it. And then it can come back and bite me, and I don't really care. So yeah, I don't really care if it does. I really don't care what people think about me, because it's not me. This is not for me. This is for God and my knowledge in God. And this is, if you're struggling in that area of your life and you're watching this video, then just know that, you know, there are other ways around feeling good, and it doesn't necessarily have to be through sex. You can find other things that will make you feel good, other than having sex. So chapter 5, Proverbs, okay? My son, be attentive to my wisdom, incline your ear to my understanding, that you may keep discretion and your lips may guard knowledge. For the lips of a forbidden woman drip honey, and her speech is smoother than oil. But in the end she is bitter as warm wood, sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go down to death, her steps follow the path of hell. It says Sheol in my Bible, but I think it means, no, I know it means hell. She does not ponder the path of her life or her ways, and she does not know it. And now, O sons, listen to me and do not depart from the words of my knowledge. Keep your way far from her, and do not go near the door of her house, lest you give your honor to others and your years to the merciless, lest strangers take their fill of your strength, and your labors go to the house of a foreigner, and at the end of your life you groan, when your flesh and body are consumed, and you say, how I hated discipline, and my heart despised reproof. I did not listen to the voice of my teachers, or incline my ear to my instructors. I am at the brink of utter ruin in the assembled congregation. Drink water from your own cistern, flowing water from your own well. Should your springs be scattered abroad, streams of water in the streets, let them be for yourself alone and not for strangers with you. Let the fountain be blessed, and rejoice in the wife of your youth, a loving deer, a graceful doe. Let her breast fill you in all times with delight. Be intoxicated always in her love. Why should you be intoxicated, my son, with a forbidden woman, and embrace the bosom of an adulteress? For a man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. The iniquities of the wicked ensnare him, and he is held fast in the cords of his head. He dies for lack of discipline, and because of his great folly he is led astray. You know, and like women can go, and men can do it too, you know. I mean, men are just as guilty as women. You know, but it also talks about, you know, like finding your soulmate. And it's not hard to find your soulmate. For I think your soulmate comes into your life whenever the Lord really wants him to come, or her to come into your life, whichever one it is for you. I believe that there are things that you must do to be whole within yourself, and most definitely is loving yourself. But sex is very, very strong in the world. I think it always has been. And yeah, I don't really have a whole lot to say other than what I just said about chapter 5. So, you know, yeah, I am blank. I don't really have anything to say, you know, other than if you're going through something like what I just read, you know, just to keep in mind, you know, you don't have to go and do bad things, or not bad. I don't want to call them bad things, because at the time that you're doing something like this and you think that it's, a right thing, or that it, or how do I say this? You're doing the best that you can with whatever circumstances that you're in. And there's just so many ways to talk about, I think, so many circumstances that are popping up into my mind. I don't even think there's any words to really say what is right or what is wrong, other than God can fulfill all of our needs, and when the time is right, He does just that in the way of a mate. So yeah, I don't have really anything else to say about this chapter. So yeah, thanks.